Okay, today is Monday. I got one piece of mail that came in that pertains to this channel, and then I'll show you a few other things here. I think I'm going to title this Point Me in the Direction of Card Collecting. It's a play on a song title there. And I wanted to show you a couple of things that came out of that junk box of free stuff that I got. I had some stickers here a minute ago. These are ones that came out of that free box I got at the swap meet of all kinds of crazy newspapers. This is already in a package, but I took it out. I've already used 2 baseball decals off of this, or stickers off of this, so that's great for adding to my sports letters, and that is very, very cool, so I'm happy to have those. I already had some soccer ball stickers, but I don't send out soccer requests very, very often, so very happy to have those. And then I wanted to show you a piece of paper that came out of the junk box, mostly newspapers. I did send a piece of paper to Al Worthington, baseball player, who's 96 years old. He always sends out some sort of testimonial or something like that. So I basically sent him a religious item, piece of paper that came out of the stuff there. It was in a plastic holder, so it didn't smell. But anyway, this is really amazing. This is from the Oregon Journal, which now is, I guess, the state. It was the Oregon Statesman, and it's not the Oregon Journal anymore. But anyway, this one says 11 killed at car race. Huge title. Extra, extra, read it all about it. 11 killed at car race. Italian auto rips into fans. And Spanish nobleman at wheel. Tragedy may end classic. Crazy. So interesting stories there. Very, very interesting. My friend who's a card guy, Jeff, if you don't know, he's just a card guy around here, and he knows a lot about a lot. So he grabbed one. He found one with Marilyn Monroe, and it was like, oh man. You know, he said, I'm getting that one. I was like, oh, dang it. I know somebody who would have wanted that one. The one piece of mail that came in, so there's a varying array of, there was brand new wrapping paper, which I already threw in the wrapping paper drawer, and there's, you know, all kinds of weird stuff. But unfortunately, whoever this was, most of their stuff was stuff that people would take and dismantle and then turn into other things. So, you know, people took pages out of books and rip the pages out and would put them in a plastic sheet and mark them $1 to $2 a sheet. You know, quote, suitable for framing. And then they have no authenticity, people was like, oh wow, there's a little print. They call it a print, but it was ripped out of a book from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. You can still find those books with great, plentiful, at bins or Goodwill stores or numerous other places. They're not very much for old books. They really have no value. But I got this in the mail, the Statue of Liberty postcard, and I was clever this day a long time ago. Because if you don't remember, I was collecting postcards from California. I started off with Oregon because I ended up with a 5-box of what I thought was stamp collecting material, but it turned out to be canceled envelopes from a business that saved every envelope, and I had over 3/4 of Oregon. So I wrote to all the different people. If you don't know, you get your stamps, and a lot of people don't know because they just do everything so automated. They don't do postage stuff, they just do like labels on the computer. You just throw your stamps on there, whatever the total is, and they will cancel that. And that's from Freedom, California. And so I put a 1945 stamp on there, or 45-ish. It's commemorating 1945. The old 5-cent stamp is probably from the 50s or so. Then a 1980s era C postage, which is 20 cents. And then a 16-cent Statue of Liberty cent. See, Statue of Liberty. Now this either came from the bins or it came in a box. I bought over 1,000 postcards off of eBay. And the crazy thing is, it's been gone since 2021. Long time. Long time. So that's when the postage rate was 40 cents. I had 41 on there. Long time ago. So Freedom, California decided to hang on to my material for 4 years. Essentially almost 4 years. That's unheard of, you know, and it got relatively unscathed except for the little piece right on there. So somebody saw this as, oh, this needs to get mailed out. They didn't do any alterations to it, and it's cool because it's canceled October 31st, so that's pretty neat. The last day of October. So that was kind of fun. And then I wanted to talk about this card collection. I'll show you that in just a second, but talk about this Fleer card on here. Random stuff I like to put in the backdrop here. This is just a a rookie card, a Roger Clemens Flair, very, very destroyed, but it was a COMC copy, and somebody wanted something ridiculous like $50 or something with somebody's wallet card. This would be about $1 at an LCS if you could find that particular card and to buy it just to have. It would be kind of fun to actually grade this card at, you know, an authentic maybe, not even like, or a PSA 0 or whatever it would be. But so the title is Point Me in the Direction of Card Collecting, or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to review my 1971 Partridge Family binder. If you didn't know, I have the Series 1 done. Series 1 is difficult enough if you don't have a start, but I was able to get a starter lot through Marchant or Marchant Trading Cards. You can see right there in the middle, Shirley Jones is autographed there, so that's awesome to have that one there. And I got a starter lot for like, I don't remember what the cost was, but it was under 20 bucks I think, and I got 3/4 of the Series 1, so I was able to eventually finish that off. It took me a number of years to do so, but happy to have done that. And then the Blue Series, I don't remember what happened there. This just happens to be a placeholder here, a foil card there. But we want to talk about the last series, Series 3. So I'm going through and reviewing eBay sellers to see if I can find the closest dollar examples. Because if you do your homework, some of these Partridge Family Green series are only $1 based on condition. And we'll just do a little check here. I have COMC open, but I may have closed it. So let's just type in COMC. I was looking up Al Worthington. So copies of Al Worthington is about $1.30, $1.90. The crazy thing is I did not have that card. I thought I had it, of all things. It's just card number 39 that I didn't have. So there's a lot of, you know, commons there. But again, even 57 tops, if you're buying them for $1.30, we just want to go to Partridge Family. And then, yeah, Partridge Family Green Border. If you didn't know or I haven't mentioned, I actually saw David Cassidy in concert. I was one of the youngest people there, and it was just frustrating. In that respect, but it was a really nice concert. Regardless of who you think he was, he really put his heart out into the concert performance and did an amazing job. So. Regardless of, you know, what kind of music it was, everybody had a great time there. And you got to go down the aisle and take really close pictures. And we were not realizing a few years later David Cassidy would be gone. You know, so we'll go to lowest price here. And you see the lowest price one right now is $2. I don't have the Laurie one of Daydreamer. And then $2.50, $3.95. But again, I was getting a lot of these, and I don't remember if they were auction or eBay or where I was getting them, but they were closer to that dollar range. And I grabbed as many as I could. And again, a lot of these have already jumped out to $5.50. So you know, if you're buying 88 cards at $5.50 a pop, you want to make sure that you get the best particular card. I am not about to spend $5.50. Now, $5.50 is way up there because these are very common compared to the Brady Bunch trading cards, which you don't see very often. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll find a Brady Bunch card for $10. You know, so what's another $5 to get a Brady Bunch card versus a relatively well-known examples of the Partridge Family Green? I want to say that I haven't marked off how many I have. You know, I think I probably did and I added images to Trading Card Database a while back ago. But see, there's like 5, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, you know, 12, 13. Might have skipped a page. 16 or something like that, 17, 18, you know, 20. So I've got about 20, 24, 25 cards there. So 25 cards is only like a third of the set. 20, 40, 60, or a quarter of the set. Because there's 88. It's a lot. A long way to go. You know, again, if you're spending $5 a card, it really doesn't seem to prove in, because then you're just like, well, then what do I do? Sell the set for, you know, a quarter of what I paid for it? That's really going backwards, you know. And none of these cards, even if you found... You won't find a perfect 10 out there, but even if you found like an 8, which is very possible, you still are not going to make your money back, even if you had an 8. It's not a thing that you want to do. But anyway, that's pretty much all I had there. Just catching up on things. 3 letters went out. Picked up a couple of books just for fun because they were a quarter a piece. I got, let's see, still a few bugs in the system. And what I had noticed about this book is it had been at that store for over a year. Nobody grabbed it for a quarter, the Doonesbury book. But what a person can do with that, and again, people call me out on wasting things and throwing away stuff. And I told them, I told somebody I tore apart a book and used it for packing material. And they said, oh man, I hate it when you do that. And I said, well, I dropped it and dented the corners really bad. And it was also about glaciers, an old vintage book about glaciers from the 80s. Who's going to want that? And then so I said, well, the best thing I could do is use it as packing. So if I had to go buy packing, the book was cheaper because it was actually free. And again, it was sitting in a free box. Nobody was taking it because it's part of a set. But see, what I could do with this one is use the cover for something else. You know, I could get maybe a quarterback to autograph that or something like that, or find somebody that's number 10, and then, you know, I could theoretically save some of these cartoons or cut pieces out or do something with it, or I could just leave the book the way it is. And then I got a book on poems because I just wanted to make 50 cents there and not a quarter. So Poetry of the Golden State, California Poetry, or something by James W. McLaughlin. It might stink, and there's James W. McLaughlin. More than likely he has since passed on, because it's a picture from the 70s, so if he was middle age, I'd put him at like 100 or something like that. So there is that one there, and then I have an outlet to get rid of those. I dump all my books off at the public library. So I have access to quarter books and free books. There's no sense in going to Goodwill and paying $3 to $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 for a book when they're anywhere between a quarter and $1, and then they're also free as well. So I have many options to get free books. And then the other free books that I can get at the binder store, essentially those, a lot of them are missing covers, they're super damaged. I'm doing them a favor by taking them and then dismantling the materials, you know, because I don't have a full recycle bin each week. So it makes more sense of me getting that stuff, and then I write letters and notes and things on the covers and stuff like that. So it's all usable. It depends on how you use it. You know, use it once or use it 100 times. You know, again, I'm trying to rid the world, trying to rid myself right now of the paper and garbage that, but if I see something, you know, clean up your area. That sign I used to have, it said, please respect your community or whatever, you know, keep this area clean or whatever. That's what we need to do more of, you know. If you see something that doesn't look all that great, then do something about it. And then again, it just takes a few seconds for you to find, you know, take the broken, ruined, and damaged free books and then recycle them, or just rip off the cover and use it for an art project. I took many book covers, trimmed them up to postcard size, and used them for, turned them into postcards. So that's another possibility somebody could do with those sort of things. Put them in letters, you know, as long as there's no bad stuff or smells on them. Do something creative with the stuff. You know, you don't have to buy stuff. You know, use the things that are already available to you and free. And that's all I have for today. I just wanted to show you an update on my Partridge Family. Oh yes, I was looking at it on eBay. Just one of the sellers there. Now we've got a person that's got a bunch of $2 and $3 cards, and they're in better shape and condition than the ones on eBay, so very cool there. Hope you have a great week. I think I've got everything. I want to thank Byron for sending the Maleficent postcard and a Christmas card there. I moved those out of the way. I had them ready for camera, but if I get a chance to show that, I'll show that sometime. It was like it's on this table, but I had to clear a lot of stuff here, and hope everybody has a great week. Thank you for watching.